Welcome to SveNFL.
What's up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Excuse me, Sarah.
We're two Americans living in Sweden talking about football. Y'all heard those horns. That means something amazing is about to happen or something fantastic has happened already. And in this case, something amazing is about to happen. SveNFL Week 10 in review. I am tired. Something strange happened in the middle of the night where I got up in the middle of the night to watch the Dolphins play, and they actually won. So that's what normally doesn't happen.
I saw some crazy story about how if the Dolphins lost, like all of the sports teams in Florida would have lost this past weekend.
It's pressure, man.
I was like, shit, that's crazy.
And this week in review, there were out of our flip and pick 'em, there were only 5 games we picked wrong. So if you bet on that, yeah, we did worse than last week. Last week we only had 2 wrong. This week
I had those 2 upsets that almost came through.
Bruh.
So
man.
close.
Man, it was a fun weekend of football. It's fun to watch it red zone. I don't normally do that because the Dolphins normally play at 7:00. But on a day when my team didn't play, it was cool to just check it out. And my brother-in-law Rob was there, and he was watching the games, and he has a new betting thing that he does. He started with a 2-crown bet on next team to score. So he just picked the game, and he was like, oh, I think they're going to score next. And he bet, and then, get the odds back on that. Then he just go pick another game. Oh, you know what? I think the Chargers are going to score.
Wow.
And so it was such a fun way. Just following him doing that was pretty fun. And that 2 crowns, he turned it into 40-something crowns before he finally lost.
Interesting.
Yeah, because then it'd be like a turnover or something, and then the other team scores. Cool way to bet, man.
That's interesting. I don't know if I can handle the level of attention that's required to do in-game betting. I feel like I'm too scatterbrained for that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It seemed like
how was your Father's Day?
Oh, it was good, man. It was great. My kids, they came in and
you got some art?
Got some art. Timeless
art.
I got some timeless art, man. So I'm gonna have that the rest of my life. How about yours? You didn't get art? Your kids are too old for the art, huh?
I did not get art. Well, I did sort of in a way. What I got is what you're looking at right here is this brand new Atlanta Falcons cap.
Ooh. You know what? You know what's crazy about it? It looks like an Atlanta cap, but it also has shades of the Georgia logo.
It does. That's why I like it.
Okay.
It's like a Falcons cap that's got that dog in it.
It's just flying around. It's like, what the fuck type of bird is that? I was just walking my dog, and all of a sudden, what type of bird? Was that Falcor? You got Atlanta Falcors. Atreyu!
Oh, man.
That's a bird with a dog in it. That's Falcor. Why hasn't anybody said that before, man?
I don't know.
Atlanta fans should love the Never Ending Story.
Yeah.
Never Ending Story has a bird with a dog in him. Falcor.
Oh, God.
That was a good laugh at the beginning of the podcast.
That's funny. Before we get started, I got to shout out totally random, non-football related thing. My boy Alexander Karim, you know him, you met him.
Yeah, shout out to him.
For those of you who listen to the podcast who also saw We Got This, he was in that too. hot tip, he's the black guy. He is also in the soon to be released Gladiator 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we went to the premiere last night. Bro, this thing, if you get a chance to go see it at an IMAX movie theater, do it. It's like,
Okay.
It's so big. It's crazy. We went out to Mall of Scandinavia. They showed it at the IMAX theater out there. And my boy Alex has got a great fucking part in this movie. It's so
nice.
cool. It's so cool to see somebody that you've known for that long, and someone, I have a group of friends, you being one of them, where we're all in this community of people where we're all kind of the type of people who actually root for one another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes in this business, you meet a lot of people who aren't actually rooting for you. They just pretend to. But it's just really cool to see this, for him to be in this big fucking $300 million Hollywood movie. It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Did he have any stories from it at all?
Oh my God, dude. He had crazy stories from it. Denzel, not the nicest guy in the world.
Oh yeah, I've heard that, man.
He got an actor fired. Because the actor touched him.
Can't be touching him, man.
Can't be touching Denzel like that.
40-something movies, man.
There's another horrible story about this woman who had a huge part in the movie. And when they finished shooting it, they realized the movie was too long, so they just cut her whole part out.
Oh, man. And to do that to a woman in this day and age, come on, man.
She was the love interest of the main character. Right?
You know what?
Like, she's basically, this would be like if you cut Kate Winslet out of Titanic.
Yeah. Why don't we do it about just the poor guy drowns?
Let's just stick with Leo.
Yeah. Why can't he just be about a poor guy trying to make it happen?
Yeah.
Like there's only room for one on the door anyway.
Yeah. I mean, this woman thought she had the fucking part of a lifetime.
Wow.
And now she's just on the cutting room floor. That's heartbreaking.
Wow.
Yeah. He had fun stories too, though. So, I mean, it's just, okay. I mean, you can't even begin to imagine what it's like to shoot it. You know how like you have a green screen there?
Yeah.
There's a scene in the movie where like this army of Roman soldiers are like coming over the hill.
Yeah.
And we were talking afterwards. I was like, how many guys were actually in that shot? Like, how many extras did you have? He was like, bro, there was like 50 guys on horseback. And then they had this green screen that was like over 120, maybe 200 meters long that they just stretched out over the hill.
Oh, wow.
And everybody else was just added in digitally. I was like, Jesus
That's
Christ.
Crazy. Not having to pay either. That's crazy.
And all these like anatromic, is that a word?
Anatromic?
Or anatronic.
Animatronic?
Sure. Rhinoceros. You know?
You mean my rhinoceros was animatronic? I thought that was you just like fucking gave up on the word and said rhinoceros.
Yeah,
rhinoceros.
Right. Like all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh, cool, man.
And then of course, like there's a scene where
was it better than the rhinoceros in Ace Ventura 2?
Well, this rhinoceros kills a motherfucker.
Oh, it doesn't give birth to a human? Okay.
No, he doesn't give birth to a human.
Okay.
But, I mean, obviously it's an action movie. The action sequences are dope as shit.
Confession, I've never seen the first Gladiator.
You don't have to.
Okay.
I mean, there's a callback to it, but they kind of explain it.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. Anyway, it's not my kind of movie, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be so excited about it if I didn't have such a good friend who was in it. But yeah. But go see it. It's good.
Will do.
Speaking of gladiators, let's move on to Thursday Night Football, shall we?
Nice segue.
Man, these poor Cincinnati Bengals.
It's over for him.
I mean, they came out like a house on fire, built up a 21-7 lead. Burrow threw 4 touchdown passes before it was all said and done. Jamar Chase went absolutely nuclear with 11 catches, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. But then the third quarter fumble, Marlon Humphrey strips the ball from Chase Brown. My man, former Bulldog Roquan Smith, falls on it. Suddenly this game turns on its head. Lamar Jackson puts the Ravens on his back and just takes over the game, right? 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers, scrambling all over the shop.
Bruh.
That one where he's tight roping the sidelines, kind of, damn near went into the end zone. I mean,
yeah, that was dope. It was kind of slow too, but it was still like, man, he's great.
Well, he was like he was following his blockers. Like, should I go here? Should I go there? Like
he's so aware.
But honestly, this is such an amazing game that it makes it that much more annoying that we have to talk about how the officials played an outsized role in the final results of this game. Again, we see this. Now, to clarify, obviously, like I said, the Bengals blew a 21-7 lead. Plus, they did, they turned the ball over on downs a few times as well. Mm-hmm. So the refs are not the only reason they lost this game. That being said,
that Whack Taylor might be the problem.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things that I think also deserves to be mentioned is that so the Bengals score the touchdown. They could have tied it to go to overtime, right? Or they could have gone for 2. I personally think going for 2 was the right decision, in my opinion.
Yeah.
However, they line up to run the play, right? You just scored a touchdown. The Ravens are on their heels. The momentum feels like it's caving in on them.
Yeah.
You've got Jamar Chase lined up where you can see it's man coverage. It's one-on-one. You got exactly the look you're looking for. Zach Taylor calls a timeout.
It's too good. It's too good.
I thought that was a huge mistake. Yeah. Anyway, that being said, clearly for those of you who haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it. Yeah. I mean, there's literally 2. They could have thrown. There were at least 2 fouls they could have called. One was a holding penalty on Gesicki, and then the other one, which gets called almost 10 times out of 10. Lineman just rakes his whole fist over Joe Burrow's face. Yeah. You could have called you could have called illegal hands to the face, or you could have called a face mask because he grabbed his face mask too, and they didn't call any of them.
Or personal foul, like
exactly
above the neck or whatever.
However you want to call it, you call it.
Call something.
You know what I mean? Call something.
And it doesn't give them the victory, but it's still fair.
And honestly, Al Michaels on the call, everybody's talking about. He was like, I mean, everybody, the announcers in the game were just like, what this? Even the officiating expert is like, yeah, these are obvious fouls. And Al Michaels is like, too many games end like this. Mm-hmm. It's very frustrating for the fans. He was like, well, obviously not the Baltimore fans, but you get my point.
Yeah. I was surprised. But the Ravens, man, they let teams stick around, man. But it's not like the Bengals are pushovers, but still. These 2 defensive teams. Well, I guess the Ravens this year aren't that defensive.
I actually think the refs were doing that thing. There were 11. The Ravens had 11 penalties in this game.
So they felt like enough is enough.
3 of which were on that drive alone.
Oh, shit.
Almost in a row. I think they had 3 penalties over 4 plays. Okay. And I think the refs felt the pressure coming from the crowd. Yeah. Comes down to the final play. You see this in hockey quite a bit, where the refs change the way they call the game in overtime, especially in the playoffs. Because it's like they don't want a penalty to decide the game. But it's just such a bad
playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
That's kind of what the Bengals are. Interestingly enough, the Bengals are kind of in an advantageous position because of how poorly everybody is playing. So they're still not out of this. I mean, obviously, every time they lose, their margin for error gets a little thinner. But of all the teams that are in the position that they're in, I mean, they clearly have the best chance to make the playoffs, given how good their offense is.
And how bad the coach is? What? Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly. I really feel like he made a huge mistake by calling that timeout.
Yeah. But guess who's right behind the Bengals in the playoff picture?
Tell me.
Miami Dolphins. So
that's true.
Make one more slip up. We right there. We right there.
Speaking of teams that are not going to the playoffs, we can talk about the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers playing in Germany.
Yes, Germany got themselves
a shit bowl brought to you by Xlex.
It was a shit bowl.
No, it was a shit bowl. This was a terrible game.
Yeah.
Danny Dimes was out here throwing wooden nickels in the first quarter, 3 for 9 for 30 yards. Malik Neighbors didn't catch his first pass until the middle of the second quarter. To me, the most damning play was that flea flicker sack that Daniel Jones took. And then when they showed the replay, he had 2 receivers wide open. Wide open.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he couldn't see them, but it just...
His progressions hadn't made there yet.
And then he gets picked off in the red zone on the next possession. I mean, the Giants were terrible.
Yeah.
Panthers weren't great either, but they were able to run the ball. Chuba Hubbard, I mean, he had over 100 yards at the half.
Yeah, he's balling.
I mean, even still, they
winning streak. They said it's the first 2-game winning streak. This was a stat I heard. First 2-game winning streak by the Carolina Panthers in 700 games.
Yeah.
Was it 700? That's such a crazy number.
Crazy. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I was like 700. How many seasons is that?
This game was so bad, it's kind of hard to remember that it actually went to overtime.
Yeah.
Really, really heartbreaking situation. The Giants win the coin toss, but then on the first play of overtime, their rookie running back, who's been really coming on in the last couple of weeks and basically kind of taking over the number 1 position in the running back room, fumbles the ball on the first play of overtime. Panthers recover just outside the red zone. 3 plays later, Eddie Piñeiro's piping a 36-yarder for the win. I mean, just an absolute turd of a game that the Giants could have won. And I mean, Brian Daboll looks like he wants to kill Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he looks like he's not a fan.
And there is chatter that they might bench him.
Really?
Yep. There are reports this morning that they are considering all of their options, which is what they usually say.
Oh, well.
Which would mean Drew Lock, to be clear.
The most punchable face in football. He's up there. Mike Jones. All right, that's enough of this game, man. It was trash.
Absolutely.
Speaking of trash.
Another game yeah, exactly. Another game that was trash that we can rip through.
This was even worse, yeah.
Patriots 19-3 over the Bears. 1 field goal, 8 punts, and 2 turnovers on downs. The number 1 overall pick, along with Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and my man, former Bulldog DeAndre Swift. This is what they were able to produce. It was fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Patriots defense deserves some credit, but damn, I don't even know really what else to say because it's not like the Patriots were lights out on offense.
I mean,
right?
Maybe.
The Bears had a chance to climb back into this at any point in the game.
Yes.
It's not like they were running away with it. Drake May was fairly pedestrian at best, I would say. But this Bears offensive line is so bad.
Yeah.
It's actually getting hard. It's getting harder to blame Caleb Williams for this. I mean, he was sacked 9 times in this game. I think he got sacked like 6 in the last game.
I saw a couple of the sacks though, but the ones I saw, he was holding the ball too,
I agree.
Holding the ball too long.
I agree, but then also there's the other the stats say that his snap to pass ratio is like 2.5 seconds, which is pretty good.
That's really good. Yeah.
I mean, there are times where he holds on to the ball too long, but I think that there's obviously more than one answer to what's going on here. But but this team has been terrible ever since the bye.
When you're supposed to get it together.
Yeah. They were getting better every week, and then they hit their bye, and they come back, and they're just getting worse every week. Mm-hmm. They haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was crazy when they said that.
What was it, like over 20-something, 21, 20-something drives? They still haven't scored a touchdown? That's crazy.
Yeah. This reflects on Eberflus.
That staff is in the crosshairs, big time.
Yeah,
I think
they're done. About to be another Chicago Fire, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the next game. We got the Bills defeating the Colts 30-20. Man, there were a lot of turnovers in this game.
Yeah,
this game started with a Joe Flacco pick 6, followed up with another pick on the very next drive by Joe Flacco. There was a sequence in the third quarter that was crazy. It started with a Colts fumble, followed by a Josh Allen interception, followed by the Colts turnover on downs. Joe Flacco would throw 3 picks in this game before it was all said and done. Josh Allen had 2. Josh Allen eventually put the team on his back despite the turnovers and proved that the Bills are clearly the better team in this game.
Yeah. Maybe they're played out of their competition or something, because they just seem like a better team than a lot of these teams. But like last week, they're within a possession and the Dolphins went in, and then this week they're fighting it out with the Colts. It's like maybe they're that team that plays to their competition.
Maybe. We'll see. They got to play the Chiefs this week. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, but the Chiefs might have that same issue.
True.
But the Bills, last week, I was really impressed with Josh Allen taking what the defense gives him. In this game, it felt like he went back to forcing stuff, and that's when it's not. That's when it gets shaky. So they'll probably be looking over tape and get him back to form.
Well, this is 2 weeks in a row where Joe Flacco has not played very well, which is bringing up the obvious conversation of when do you accept that this is not going to be the Joe Flacco story from last year, like what he did with the Browns.
Yeah.
I essentially, at what point do you decide that the game reps for Anthony Richardson is more valuable than acting like Joe Flacco is going to get you into the playoffs? What do you think?
I think you can still. You can't justify that right now when they're in the 8th seed. But it's not like Richardson is. Whenever the players are the ones that are gonna have to determine this. You got to just be in tune with your locker room and see who do they think is the best? Who do they want to play for? And it feels like Anthony Richardson, he kept pulling himself from the game is what got him pulled, basically. I think that's what it was. Everybody's talking about this guy asking for a breather at quarterback, which I've never seen before besides an injury. So I think the coach probably was like getting the read on the teams that they're not behind that guy. He's not a leader.
I honestly think that they need to wait until
they're out of the playoff.
Once they're mathematically out of the playoffs, there's really no point to play Joe Flacco anymore.
Right.
I do not think, and I don't care what anybody says. I know that there's a lot of people trying to stir up shit on Twitter. I saw one tweet where it's like, wow, they're showing a lot of grace, and they're showing a type of grace for Joe Flacco that they don't appear to be capable of showing to Anthony Richardson. And I'm like,
he's earned it.
He's earned it. At what point has Richardson? Do we not remember what Richardson was like? Like, stop it. I think they're just trying to create shit. But anyway,
speaking of creating shit, the Chiefs created. Wow.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, the inevitable nature of the Chiefs, how they're able to do this again, but in a totally different way with a walk-off block of a field goal for the win. I think for starters, you have to credit the Broncos, who did everything they needed to do to hand the Chiefs their first loss of the season.
Yeah.
Neither offense was outstanding, mostly because both defenses were great. Holmes felt like he was under duress on every play. Neither team could run the ball very well. So that meant that it was going to be a Bo Nix duel with the best quarterback that we've seen.
Second best.
Second best. Who's the first best?
Baker Mayfield. I thought everybody...
You know what? This week you're right. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking hell. Look, Bo Nix, wasn't like spectacular, but obviously he hung in there. He made some plays.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's got the ball in his hands. They're eating the clock. Move the ball into very comfortable field goal range.
Yeah. He did everything he needed to do.
He's doing that thing. They did that thing that the Chiefs usually do to other teams. Like, we're just going to grind this thing out, and we're going to break your hearts with a last-second field goal.
But they don't have a misogynist kicker, man.
No.
That's what you need.
He's got that MAGA magic.
Yeah.
Shout out to Leo Chenal. He's the Chiefs linebacker who gets a hand on the field goal block. This is the same guy who blocked the extra point in the Super Bowl this past year that helped the game go to overtime. Unbelievable. I mean,
Mahomes was running around more than he did on the Super Bowl.
That's true. Yeah.
He was so excited. That's great, man. I don't know. It's hard. It's ridiculous that they're a dynasty that's hard to root against.
One of my favorite interviews that I've saw in the days after Sunday was they interviewed Miko Hardman in the locker room after the game. And he said that DeAndre Hopkins came up to him as Broncos were lining up to kick the field goal. He said D-Hop came up to him and was like, man, shit, I can't believe we're about to lose this game. And Miko Hardman claims that he said, I don't know about that. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Hold on now.
I've seen some crazy things happen in this stadium, so don't think we're going to lose this game just yet. So he claims that he called it.
Wow. There was somebody else who spoke in on it.
In an ideal world, you don't want a loss. You want to win. But if you can't get the win, and sometimes you sell for the tie. A lot of football left to go in the season.
A lot of football left to go in the season. Good job, Lovey.
I'm always waiting on Lovey, man.
Well, that brings us to the Atlanta Falcons, who, for whatever reason, decided, yeah, sure, we can give one up to the Saints because there's just so much more football left to play in the season.
They had to confirm the theory, man.
Yeah.
The theory was there, or just hovering.
Saints win 20-17. Look, we don't need to spend an eternity on this game. Kirk Cousins throws for over 300 yards. Bijan looks great, but Younghoe Koo misses 3 very makeable field goals.
Bruh.
That would have put this one to bed. Easy. Other than that, the Falcons' pass rush is still an ongoing issue. We send the house. We can't get to the quarterback. And when we don't get to him, we get cooked by the Saints. Newest addition, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, of all people, 3 targets, 3 catches, 103 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is a problem.
That was crazy, man. And then even with Alvin Kamara just dropping.
I know. And that's like something the Falcons do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was almost like the Saints wanted us to win the game, and we still figured out a way to fuck it up.
Damn. Sorry, man.
But, yeah.
I got
honestly,
a question for you.
Yeah.
Regarding your game, I hope I'm not hitting a soft spot here. So I don't want you to think I'm piling on. But my question is, how is the Falcons' loss Kyle Shanahan's fault?
Kyle Shanahan is one of these coaches who is like a virus, right? And like a virus, sometimes it comes back. Even after the source of that virus is no longer in the building. And I honestly think that the Falcons as an organization have this tendency to trip on their own dicks and fall flat on their face because of this virus that Kyle Shanahan left in the building. And I don't know what we need to do. If we need to hire some kind of fucking... Maybe we should have gone out.
Some sage.
We should have gone out and done some research prior to this game and met some like voodoo princess who could figure out a way to get rid of this crazy fucking Juju Shanahanigans.
Shanahanigans, yeah.
To get rid of the Shanahanigans virus that we have.
Damn. Well, I'm sorry, man. But y'all still at the top of the division. Right.
Yes, and the Bucs lost, which is good.
To who?
Which brings us to our next game. Don't try to act like Shanahan gets credit for winning this football game.
He's looking out for you, man.
Actually, you know why?
He had the same thing. He had the same, like they had the Young Wei Koo situation.
I know, but you know who solved that problem? Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
You see that clip of Debo like choking out the long snapper and smacking Jake Moody in the head after he missed that third field goal? And he's like, motherfucker, don't you dare miss another field goal. He was scared to miss that game-winning field goal.
Yeah. Makes sense. Debo probably fucked him up.
Besides all of the drama that happens at the end, to me, I mean, this was just another gutsy Baker Mayfield performance. I mean, that fourth down play where Baker rolls out to his right, he's got Nick Bosa coming at him, and he stiff arms Nick Bosa for like 7 yards, and finally throws a first down on a fourth down. Got to have it play on what was the game tying drive. Yeah. Correct?
Rob and I were screaming in my apartment as if we were Bucs fans. And I kept repeating the phrase, "This is why he's the best player in football."
I mean, I'm not going to lie. They're in my division, and I honestly am having a hard time not rooting for Baker Mayfield.
Something, man. It's something.
It's almost like I'll take you one further. If I could swap, I would swap Baker Mayfield for Kirk Cousins right now.
You know how much Atlanta would embrace that guy?
Oh my God, I would love him.
Yeah.
I would swap those two guys in a heartbeat.
Yeah. It probably worked for both teams too.
Yeah.
Shout
out to Ricky Pearsall too. Ricky Pearsall obviously gets shot in the preseason, scores his first touchdown in this game. This was McCaffrey's first game back.
He made a mark too
of the season. Didn't really do much.
They were really going like trying to get him involved. Because he had scrimmage yards. He had 100 scrimmage yards.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah, he was catching out of the backfield.
But at least Jake Moody, Jake Moody, this was his first game back after a hamstring injury. He was 1 of 4 on field goals, missed 3 field goals before he got a chance at redemption, and he did it barely.
Barely.
Also, you know what it made me think of? There was a lot of field goal kicking issues this weekend. It made me think of all those idiots earlier in the year who suggested that we should narrow the field goal post.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys?
That's done.
I was man, y'all shut the fuck up. It's coming. Trust me. It's here. It usually comes, obviously, at this time of year when it's like the weather becomes a factor. It's like,
exactly. That's when they show up. But you know who didn't show up? Neither the Jags or Vikings offense.
Oh my God.
That shit was a welcome. And
That's all I could think of while I was watching this game. I was like, Jonathan's going to be so excited. He gets to hit that.
Especially we got the Mac we wanted too. The Mac I knew and loved and laughed about after going from Tom Brady. This was the guy they drafted. And he just solidified why he's in another city already. Didn't even make it out of that contract. Oh my God. So bad. 14 for 22, 111 yards, 2 interceptions, man. It was a truth. More on that later. But the Vikings didn't look too much better on offense.
No, they look terrible. I think this is, we've been talking about
bowl
this.
Of the day.
We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. That Sam Darnold is starting to slip here a little. Obviously started out the year great. And all those, the Darnold hive, all those people who were like, see, we told you he was a good quarterback, but, lately.
Finally got a chance.
Yeah. This is a terrible game. You know what was not a terrible game was Steelers versus Commanders. How about that one? 28-27. Russell Wilson moonballed to the new wideout who wasn't good enough for the Jets, Mike Williams, for the win. That's what I call poetry.
Man, Rainbow Russ was out here. He came out there. Look at his stat line, man. He had 3 touchdowns. He had a pick, but 14 to 28. That's 66%, man. 67%, 195 yards, 3 touchdowns. Good job, Russ, man. He's somebody that he's not easy to root for. Never mind. I was gonna say he's easy to root for. He used to be easy to root for, but he just got too corny. But I think he's on the right team, man, where they can handle. There's nobody too big of a personality for the Steelers.
Honestly, the Commanders' defense did a pretty good job of stopping the run, but there is just currently no way to contain the explosion of rainbows that are emanating from Mr. Unlimited, who, let's not forget, produced another magical moment with my man, former Bulldog George Pickens, with another circus catch in the back corner of the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. This guy. And is there anybody more like insane than George Pickens in the National Football League right now? Did you see what he did when Russell Wilson threw that interception?
No, what did he do?
The ball was supposed to go to Pickens. He was bracketed by a DB and the safety. The DB picks it off, starts running, and I don't know what, the safety, I guess, just got into George Pickens' peripheral vision, and George Pickens just turned around and grabbed this guy and suplexed him.
I didn't see that.
It was just what is he doing?
What you doing, man?
He's an absolute lunatic.
Did he get in trouble for it? Did he get a penalty?
I don't think he did. I think
So
he
the
got
ref
away
was
with
just
it.
what's wrong with you?
I think he got away with it. He was just pretending like he was blocking. But it was he tried to break this man's neck.
Damn. He's like, I've been wanting to play defense all my life.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, no need to hang their heads, man. The Commanders are still looking good in that division. And,
Look, this was a great test.
Yeah. I thought they were going to get blown out.
This was a great test for what is essentially the Cinderella story of the year. I still believe in them. They were able to hang in this game. The Steelers basically put on tape, how to play this offense. So, Jaden Daniels, you got to just put him under pressure. Just keep coming at him, which is what they did. Let's see. Where are we now? Chargers. Titans. Did you get to see this one?
I saw Chargers Titans. Yeah. I had some technical issues I was
27.
trying to fix over here, man.
27-17. Chargers get the win. Will Levis.
This one was like how it. I don't know. I wasn't surprised at all, man.
No,
Chargers have a personality. They have taken on Jim Harbaugh's personality, man.
It's true. They have
already.
I mean, honestly, okay. So Will Levis was back. He threw a couple of touchdowns. Mm-hmm. But the Chargers defense, especially in the second half, as well as Justin Herbert, who I thought played really, really well in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Not like crazy.
How Harbaugh is this? 18 attempts. Remember we were complaining about how often that they were having him throw the ball last year with Staley was the coach, and now they're super balanced, man. Not even balanced. They're super run heavy, I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
and
40 runs to 14 passes.
Herbert didn't play lights out or anything, but we saw him much more willing to use his legs to extend the drive.
Yeah.
He was doing a great job of just managing the game that was in front of him, pick the right moments to go off script.
Mm-hmm.
Only one touchdown throwing the ball, but he had a really nice rushing touchdown.
You know what team I want to compare them to? They're like the Lions, man.
Okay.
You take this quarterback with I guess it's not super elite arm talent in Goff, so it's not the same, but this quarterback who's been asked to do a lot, and then you kind of reduce it a bit and even it out, and then the quarterback can flourish. Mm-hmm. And it seems like what's happened here, man. He's been like, it's not all on you, man. And Herbert he doesn't seem like the guy who wants all of that on him.
Right.
So it's good, man. Good job. I knew Harbaugh was going to be good there.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job. 3 wins in a row for the Chargers as they head into probably their most difficult part of the season. They got the Bengals and the Ravens up next.
Oof. Yeah, it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Speaking of rough.
Oof. I mean.
Damn, look at Cooper Rush.
Bro. There's so many, like it's becoming almost like unfair. Like all of the opportunities that the Cowboys are offering for people to just dunk on them. I mean, it's like take your pick. Like, which part would you like to make fun of?
They're at home too, man. Just keep taking these ass whoopings, right? Were they at home?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
Just got beat down, man. I mean, we knew they were gonna lose, but Cooper Rush getting 45 passing yards. Trey Lance
one of my other favorite moments was like a week after getting benched for not showing up to meetings. Zeke had that ridiculous goal line fumble. It was just almost like comical.
Yeah, football follies. They were somebody referenced that. You remember the football follies used to have the little.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The other story that's getting a lot of attention the last couple of weeks is the fact that the Cowboys Stadium has these windows that allows the sun to shine through in the third quarter. And there was a moment where there was a pass to CeeDee Lamb. He's wide open in the end zone on a crossing route, and the ball just passes right by him. And he looks at Cooper Rush and he starts like pointing at his eye. He's like, I can't see. And there's lots of images of this, and Jerry Jones was asked about it. And you won't be surprised. He was indignant. He said some crazy stuff. What did he say? I'm trying to.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
He said, "Well, let's tear the damn stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me? Everybody's got the same thing. Every team that comes in here has the same issue." He said,
"Motherfucker, it's like your stadium had the TV too low, or the screen too low."
Yeah.
When you built it, he didn't think about that. He was thinking about making something amazing.
He also said something weird. He said, "I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. You get to know that almost a year in advance."
Almost.
I'm like, what is he talking about? Someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon?
Wow.
Now,
He should run for president.
The thing that's crazy about this is that all the reporters were asking him was, why don't you put a curtain
Put shades
over it? Because they have a curtain that they put over these windows when they do other events, like when they do concerts and stuff.
Just do it during the game.
And I think the only reason he doesn't do it, honestly, Jerry's a God-fearing man. And I think
let the Lord in.
I think he thinks of his stadium as more like a church. He hasn't said that, but I really do think that's why he doesn't want to do it.
What a weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a hot take from this game.
Tell me.
Jalen Hurts, not that impressed.
Yeah, I agree.
Not that impressed. He scrambled a bit. It doesn't have the worst stat line, but as I'm watching him, he takes some bad sacks, man.
His stats always seem really inflated because it feels like every week he gets 2 touchdowns from the tush push.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it makes it seem like, he must be one of the best rushing quarterbacks. It's like, he's actually not. He's pretty slow.
Yeah. He can run when they're playing a man defense, and he can get outside the pocket. But it's
also,
nothing.
Honestly, it's very difficult to have a informative conversation about any team playing against the Cowboys at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm way more interested to see what the Eagles look like next week or this coming week when they play the Commanders.
Yeah, good point. That's going to be a huge game. But he, I don't know, as I watched, he wasn't passing the eye test for me, man. Something about him, man.
Speaking of teams that do not currently pass the eye test, let's talk about the New York Jets.
Oh, my God. Is Aaron Rodgers going to throw over 300 yards ever? Is it over?
You know what I thought? I was like, at least the Cowboys have the excuse of the injured quarterback and a shitty roster.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing.
The Jets, however, what's your excuse?
I see something that
we couldn't stop the run. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We got our ass kicked.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, they had no answer for Kyler Murray, who, it must be said, 22 for 24.
Yeah. Crazy.
22 for 24. 1 passing touchdown, plus 2 rushing touchdowns. James Conner is just...
Man, he runs hard. It's
feels
like Isaiah Pacheco.
Doesn't he feel like he should be on the Lions?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man.
It's like he feels like he should be, or on the he used to be on the Steelers, didn't he?
I think so.
Man.
I've got controlled fury.
I should try to get him back.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, he seems perfect for them.
Trey McBride, too. This tight end. Man, he's fun to watch.
Didn't he? No, the Steelers had the guy from Terminator.
Which
Wasn't
guy?
it John Connor? Isn't that his name, Terminator? Well, I don't know.
No. They had James Conner was a Steeler.
Oh, okay.
At some point.
They had the guy. Didn't they have the guy who had the same name as the Terminator guy?
James Conner is a real person. John Connor is a fictional character in a movie.
I know, but didn't one of them. I know that. I know. Okay, it was a fullback. John Connor was an NFL fullback. He played for the Jets. My bad.
Yeah.
Damn, he looks like he's from the future, though.
I mean, obviously, I don't even know what it must. I mean, what are we supposed to say about the Jets at this point? Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, their season is over,
Is
right?
it?
Doesn't it feel like it's over?
7 losses, yeah, because they haven't had a bye week yet, huh? No, they have. What? No, they haven't had a bye week yet, maybe.
I mean, it feels like their season is over to me.
Yeah, they have to win out. I didn't think about that. They're below the Dolphins now. Because I was wondering, like I'm saying, like the Dolphins still have they're not mathematically out, but the Dolphins had their bye week early, so that's why they haven't had as many losses. So that's what puts them past some of these teams that have. Because I was wondering, like I felt like the Jets were above the Dolphins, but they were before this week. And the Dolphins won.
I mean, considering all the effort that they put into building this roster, I mean, this has to be considered the biggest failure in the league this year.
Yeah, it feels like they're definitely going to roll. They already fired.
Well, they are. Yeah, one of them already has. I
think they would have been way better with Robert Saleh. I don't know.
I mean, there are people posting stats out there that the Zach Wilson offense and the Aaron Rodgers offense, statistically, I think Rodgers has 5 more passing yards. Like they're almost like that's what they got. They got 5 extra passing yards.
And Wilson got hurt a little bit, right? Wasn't he hurt a little bit?
I mean, it's and also considering the fact that this was just supposed to be what Aaron Rodgers wasn't really expected to play more than 2 years. Here we are in the middle of year 2. Does he stick around for another year, or what do they?
I'd tell him he has to. You had us fire the coach and bring Devontae Adams here, who's probably loving life, right?
It's just out here.
I only remember him making a couple catches too, Devontae Adams. How did he do?
Devontae Adams out here chasing all of his washed-up former teammates.
Oh, he got 6 catches. I know, right? He's just nostalgia. Well, but good job, Cardinals, man. We talked about them last week being a pretty scary team, and now they're out here 6-4.
Yeah, respect to the Cardinals. They're no longer the easy out. You got to show up and be ready to play these Cardinals.
Yeah,
because they can hurt you.
What about the game of the week with the Texans and the Lions?
Speaking of teams that can hurt you, actually, these were 2 teams who were just trying to hurt themselves. It was like 2 suicidal teenagers like slamming into each other. I mean, what the fuck happened here? What's worse, Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions, or the Texans losing to Goff, who threw 5 interceptions?
I think losing to a guy that throws 5 interceptions, because they say turnovers are the biggest indicator if you're going to win or lose the game. They have 5 interceptions, man.
When you had a 23-7 lead.
Yeah, and 5 minutes more time possession, all of this, man, it's just...
I mean, Goff threw 6 interceptions all of last season. He threw 5 in one night.
That's crazy, man. I can't believe they lost this game. I was just like, oh, wow. As I watched the next morning, I went through the game in 40, and I was just like, oh, okay, Texans. And then they lost.
Stroud was not very good either. He was only 19 for 33, 232, a touchdown, 2 picks of his own. He also missed some very wide open shots. Yeah. Just a total roller coaster of a game.
They didn't even score in the second half, bro.
It's so crazy. The Texans are up 23-7. The drive chart reads like this. Lions interception, Texans interception, Lions interception, Texans punt, Lions touchdown, Texans interception, Lions interception, punt, Lions touchdown, and then the field goal to tie. Texans miss field goal, Lions winning field goal. What the fuck is that? What the hell?
Have you seen the big story about the field goal?
No, actually. He's from that. Isn't he from the Lions field goal kicker? Isn't he from Houston or something?
Yeah, he's from Houston. Yeah, but this has nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay.
There was a flight, and you know how nowadays on the flight, if you fly domestically, you can one of the things you can do is watch live games. And there was a flight that was landing, and I want to say it was going to Detroit. I don't know, but there were a bunch of Detroit fans on the flight, and the flight was landing, and the flight attendant. You know, when they speak, it stops your broadcast. So
no. Are you serious?
Yo, check this out, man.
It's been our absolute pleasure to have you on board tonight. Also, congratulations to Lions. My apologies. I was given this information.
Yes! No!
That flight attendant wouldn't have been so cool, man. I'd have been so mad. Imagine missing that. It was a dramatic thing, too. It looks like it goes up.
Oh, it barely just squeaks in.
Yeah,
You hear that one guy
no,
goes, yes,
no. And they're telling her she was talking. Oh, no, bitch, shut up. We know. We're coming. We're going to land. I know. Put my seatbelt on. Shut the fuck up. Tell me this shit in 7 seconds.
That is so funny. I've never seen that before. That's
that was
hilarious.
dope. That was dope, man. That was a cool thing. I knew you'd appreciate that if you hadn't seen it. I'm glad I got to show you. Really man, speaking of showing you, huh? Speaking of showing you, people counted us out, man. Dolphins. I got my Dolphins gear on. I was up in the morning, 2:30 this morning, to watch the game, and I had already come to the conclusion that we're gonna lose. Even though in Flip and Pick'em I said that we would win, but that was just because I felt like the Dolphins are too good of a team to be 2-7. It just felt weird. That was my only reasoning because they haven't looked that good. But it was a shaky start. Great finish for Tua, but the defense played 4 quarters of football, great football, and it was the first time that the offense and defense played complementary game. Rams looked good, but, Dolphins held them to 0 touchdowns the entire game. So
that's amazing.
That'll do it. And I didn't know this, but coming into the game, Dolphins had like the number 4 defense in the league or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. So it's just they've been waiting on Tua, basically. Defense has been keeping them in games, but I didn't even realize that after the Buffalo putting up so many points. So kudos to the Dolphins, man. They seem like they have a team that could stick around and a little bit of go on a little run here. We could be talking playoffs.
I'm glad one of us
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
I'm just glad that one of us finally got a win because we were staring down the barrel of a tough sporting weekend.
Yeah.
Your Hurricanes losing.
Hurricanes lost.
My Bulldogs lost. The Falcons lost. I was glad one of us got something in there.
Yeah,
I was happy for it when I saw that.
Yeah, I was so glad. When did you find out? You found out this morning? Looked it up?
Mm-hmm. I was also up at 2:30, and I thought about watching the game. I had one of those nights where I was tired, but I couldn't fall asleep, and so I got up and went into the living room and was just kind of laying there staring at the ceiling and I was like, it's 2:30. Oh, I just got a notification. Oh, yeah, Devon Achane is on my fantasy team. And I was like, oh, shit, am I going to do this? And I was like, no, man, I gotta give it one more shot. I'm going to try to go to bed. And so I did.
Oh, okay.
I went to bed.
Yeah. The y'all number 11 in Georgia, and Miami's number 12, so just making the playoff if we can finish well.
Yeah, we got to win out. We got one more really tough game against Tennessee.
Good luck.
We'll see how it goes. I don't think
we'll find a way to lose to some shitty team.
Georgia's not a championship team this year. They don't have it. Our quarterback is throwing interceptions like nobody's business. The defense isn't what it once was.
We have quite possibly the best quarterback in college football, and our defense just can't stop anybody. Can't stop it.
Yeah, I think your guy's going to go pretty high in the draft.
Yeah.
When the year started, they were talking about Carson Beck from the Bulldogs being the number 1 overall draft pick, but he's thrown 12 interceptions in the last 4 games or some shit. It's like his draft stock has just plummeted.
Cam Ward's balling. All right. Let's get some superlatives knocked out, then we can get on out of here, man.
Let's do it.
What you can get from a reaction episode is some superlatives. I could go first, man. My real MVP is who everybody thinks. It's Cameron Bynum, and it's not even close. I know a lot of you he's a household name. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a household name, but I got a thing for the defensive side of the ball. So when somebody on defense does something special, then I got to shout him out. And this guy picks the ball off in the end zone for the Minnesota Vikings. And it sounds like just another pedestrian thing. But he did something more. He entertained. And you just saw the Gladiator movie. Everybody wonders if they are or they are not entertained. And this man did entertain us. And the best thing about celebrations, I mean, you got to do a celebration when you do something good. On defense, you get to celebrate when you get a sack. You get to celebrate when you get a turnover of some sort, including an interception. And a lot of times they run to the opposite end zone and do the celebration. He happened to be there already because that's where he made the interception, which is great. So while he's there, he decides to remind us all of a debacle that we had to witness. Besides the current debacle we were witnessing at the time, which is Mac Jones playing football, but the other debacle that we got to witness, which was Ray Gun. Ray Gun. Another symbol of white entitlement. This woman who basically picked herself to represent Australia in the Olympics, and in the first breakdancing, made a mockery of the art of breakdancing.
First and last breakdancing.
This woman actually got something taken out of the Olympics with how poorly she did. So Cam Bynum decided to learn her shitty dances and do them as a touchdown celebration, which makes him my MVP. And I'll say straight up to Cam that he's the real MVP. If I can find it. I can't fucking find it. The button's there. Y'all know how it goes. You the real MVP by Kevin Durant. But I thought instead, even better than the button is to just watch the celebration. Let's watch the celebration.
Yeah, let's do it.
Side by side.
I mean, he nails it.
Fantastic, man. It's so funny that everybody knows what he was doing at the time, too. It's just like he's
It was
doing
easily the most
good.
entertaining thing that happened in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Brian Flores wouldn't have it any other way than to have a slow, grind out, boring ass game because the defense held them to field goals or to 7 points total. Yeah, man. So that was my MVP, man.
I love it. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase.
Oh, yeah, of course. A real MVP.
264 yards and 3 touchdowns on 11 catches. In their last matchup against the Ravens, he had 193 yards. So that's 457 yards total versus the Ravens, which is amazing. Sadly, they lost both of those games.
Yeah.
Throw in the fact that Chase is leading all receivers in yardage as well as touchdowns, 10 touchdowns on the year.
Jeez.
Next closest is Mike Evans, George Kittle, McLaurin, St. Brown, my guy Drake London, all tied for 6. Jamar Chase, honestly, was getting a lot of bad press at the beginning of the year, complaining about wanting the big bag at the start of the year, said he should be paid like he's the best receiver in the NFL. And he has come out and he has absolutely proven that week after week. So week 10, even at a loss, Jamar Chase, you're the real MVP.
Trash. I'm going to have to say it, man. I've hinted at it a bit. I'm really happy when it comes down to this, but it's a return of the Mac because he's been trashed before. Yes, he's been trashed in the past and he's trash in the present and he'll probably be trash in the future. I gotta say, Mac Jones is trash. He's lost. He can't read the defense, it seems. He can't every now and then he tries to move out of the pocket. And he can't because there's obviously proverbial gum stuck on his shoes. He cannot get around at all. And he has this stupid frown on his face at all times when he makes mistake after mistake. And he threw a bunch of interceptions and just looked horrible. Looked like the worst quarterback in football. He was the 15th pick of the draft, so there are expectations there. They took him before a lot of quarterbacks. And he turns out to be one of the worst in the league. That's why on this day and probably tomorrow.
You are trash!
That's a good point. For my trash, and I really, really hate to say this, but this is something that I've been holding back on for a little while. My guy, Younghoe Koo, might be the worst field goal kicker in the NFL this year.
Worse than Moody?
He missed 3 field goals this past weekend, any of which could have given us a chance to win the game. Worse than that, on the year, he's only making 70% of his kicks.
Ew.
In his last 5 games, 42%.
Oh, my God.
Of all the NFL kickers that have yet to be fired, I'm pretty sure Koo ranks dead last. This dude has been such a legend for us in the past, but this whole year has been a hot mess. Falcons owner Arthur Blank, I remind you, owns the Atlanta United soccer team. I mean, there has to be a soccer player in the building who could pipe these field goals better than Koo.
Jeez.
Honestly. Because week 10, losing to the Saints because you can't kick a fucking field goal. Younghoe Koo, I'm sorry, bro, but you're my trash.
You are trash!
As for shit got learned, my shit got learned is Sam Darnold is officially a pumpkin. Time's up. Midnight has struck. The shoes are off and they're glass. And they don't fucking fit like OJ's glove. I'm sorry, Sam. It's not working out for you. He had his run. He finally got his shot, and he's not as clean a shot as Dick Cheney. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, sorry, man. That's what I learned. That Sam Darnold's time looks like it's. They got to see what this rookie's about next year when he's healthy, because Sam Darnold ain't the future over there.
Agreed. The shit that I learned, Caleb Williams is the 4th best rookie quarterback in the NFL this year.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels is obviously the best so far. Bo Nix, I would put second. And even though Drake May hasn't played quite as many games, both the numbers and the eye test tell me that he is playing like a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. He's certainly better at adjusting to the NFL game, I would say. Caleb, of all the rookie quarterbacks, has the worst passing percentage, the worst passer rating, and by far is the worst at holding on to the ball for too long and getting sacked. We've talked at length about how this team was set up for success with this roster, but somehow the Bears have not scored an offensive touchdown since week 8.
Jeez.
This team is far too talented on paper to be this bad in reality. I really do see some sort of a Monday morning massacre of the coaching staff in the very near future for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, the offensive line is an issue too, but to me, that's the worst indictment of the coaching staff, that you went out and you got all these shiny toys and you didn't bother to fortify the line to protect this kid. So it's a hot mess in Chicago right now.
Yeah. There's always spec to go around. And I'm putting some spec on New England Patriots defense, man. The Patriots, I mean, of course, this is a rebuild year, and you were just talking about your boy, and there might be something wrong, but maybe they also ran up against a good defense that's not supposed to be good yet. These guys are in transition, but they held the Bears to 3 total points. I'm pretty impressed by the Patriots defense. They had him when he wasn't in the pocket holding the ball too long, which might have been due to confusion. He was running for his life as well. I think we can't sleep on the Patriots defense, and in the very near future, they might be a real problem. We've always known they had the talent. They've been drafting pretty good talent, and a couple more drafts, you never know. You never know. How many sacks was that?
9.
9 sacks? Come on now. Damn, 9. God damn. Almost double-digit sack performance on this vaunted Chicago Bears. But yeah, that's my spec. So the Patriots are probably saying,
put some respect on my name.
I'm going to put some spec on Mike fucking Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Great receiver. Formerly with the Chargers. Gets traded to the Jets. All year he's getting thrown under the bus by Aaron Rodgers, saying this bitch is running the wrong routes. Jets acquired Devontae Adams, ship Williams off to Pittsburgh at the trade deadline. First game since these transactions, right? Adams had 13 targets, 6 catches, 31 yards. Williams just rolled into town in Pittsburgh, right? So they said, we have a limited package for him. He still hadn't learned the playbook yet. But Mike Money Williams said, yo, all I need is one.
There's a nice song called All I Need Is One Mic.
Yeah. Dude gets 1 target, 1 catch, 32 yards, 1 more yard than Devontae Adams. And the game-winning touchdown.
Yep.
It must feel so good to know that you can put the arrogance of Rodgers post-game pressers in the rearview mirror and trade that for the Rainbow Russ Moonballs and a functional organization like the Steelers. Mike Williams was, and always has been a badass wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure we put some spec on this man's name.
Put some respect on my name.
Yeah. In the Pigskin Pick'em that we do on ESPN, Pigskin Pick'em, I'm holding steady at 6th place.
Nice.
But Alexander is still pulling away from everybody. And he's in first place alone. So shout out to you, Alexander.
He's him.
David Utegard is in 2nd place.
Let's go, David.
So, yeah, go, David. Catch him, David. What are you doing? Of course, he got 10 right last week, 9 right for David. I got 10 right, so just throw it out there. All right, man. That's it, man. This was great. Oh, in Flip and Pick'em, it was 9-6, right? Just saying, I'm pretty.
Was it
far.
9-6 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Was it 8-6?
What? Oh, why does it say 9? I don't know. Yeah, because it's impossible to be 9-6.
See, look at you cheating over there. So close, man. If I called the Bengals upset, they lose that by 1 point. I called the Bucks upset, they lose that by a field goal.
It sounds like 2 losses to me. What's the overall score? I'm up by over 10, right? It don't matter.
The overall score is 83-71.
Okay.
So I'm still, when we come back to do the picks for this week, I got to stick with this upset strategy. It's going to have to pay off at some point because I'm behind.
All right. Okay. Well, it's been real, man. Another fun one. You know, right now. Oh, when you hear that horn, that means something fantastic has just happened or something incredible is about to happen. And that fantastic thing was this day's episode, the Week 10 wrap-up. It has been Jonathan Rollins
and Skip Mazzara
with SveNFL. We'll catch you next week. No, we'll catch you with a preview this week. Peace.
Later, y'all.